All right, let's talk to all you really intelligent guys out there. We have so many smart guys come through, professors, engineers, doctors, dentists. We have guys who actually have a very rich intellectual reality. The challenge is that this is such an overdeveloped muscle that we really don't feel down into our bodies and feel down into the present moment. Guys who are highly intelligent, but first of all, think about why. It's one thing to be highly intelligent, and it's another to be embodied. So why do we choose to live in our heads? Well, because our emotional realities are feeling a little uncertain. We're not comfortable being in our bodies. We're not comfortable with our deep grief or our anger, especially our anger or our fear. And so we choose to live up in our heads. Think about this. You are born perfect with your head and your heart linked in perfect union. And from the moment that something happens to you as a child, and it could be a moment of abuse or it could be something that happened over and over again, what happens in us little tiny human beings is that our heads and hearts detach from each other. And we move entirely up into our heads and we bury our hearts away. Our heart is another way of saying our emotions, our deep connection to the earth or the spirituality. This all starts to get a little buried, and we repress and we suppress. And you can live an extremely productive life from your head. But it's a life of, it's not three-dimensional, it's two-dimensional. We are not in the present moment. We tend to become perfectionists. We are striving, and probably our accomplishments are huge in the world, but there's not that sense of relaxed satisfaction, that connection with other human beings. And we see this all the time, especially between a PhD. We've had a few PhD students come through. Someone who's getting their PhD, and not because they live their entire world in their head, solving problems, creating theses, writing, researching, that this heart to heart or this cock to pussy connection is really hard to grasp. So how do you get out of your head? That's the question. I think that's why Fearless exists, to get us out of our heads and down into your bodies. Here's an interesting exercise. Because we live in our heads and not in our bodies, try going out into the world and for an afternoon or for 20 minutes and feel the world around you. Feel how everything, every detail makes you feel something. It makes no sense that if I look down at the pavement and if I really drop into it and I feel anger or annoyance, I'm annoyed, don't try to make sense of it. The sidewalk made you annoyed. The tree makes you feel peaceful. That pretty girl makes you angry. You don't have to figure out why, but just invite these feelings into your body. And you can feel them in different parts of your body. A lot of people feel sadness as a tightness in their hearts. They can feel fear as a gripping in their stomachs. Doesn't have to be huge. It can just be little tiny pieces of feeling somewhere in your body, and it won't make any sense. And don't try to make sense out of it. Just look at it and go, this is pretty interesting. Also, there's a book that we have probably most of our clients read, which is called Letting Go by David Hawkins. It is a remarkable kind of a Bible for us on how we repress and suppress all these feelings in our body, and because it just makes life easier, but we don't really drop into those deep connections with other human beings, and certainly with women. Read David Hawkins. It was a huge eye-opener for me when I realized how much that I was pushing away, and that I had access suddenly to to grief and to anger and to fear inside of my body. And now I feel these things, and they don't overwhelm me. They don't cause me to go into my head. It just helps me feel present with the present moment. And we also have a chart of emotions. Talk to one of the coaches or speak to me or find out through us. Get a chart of emotions. It's a piece of paper with the 9 major emotional categories, but all thinly sliced. So under anger, there's annoyance, there's frustration, there's rage. And if you print this out and you carry it around with you and you just say, wait a minute, I'm feeling something. It's not anger. It's annoyance. It's really helpful. It starts getting you really, really present. You see, the mind isn't present. The mind is either solving the future or trying to make sense of the past. So it's in the present moment is in your body. And if you want to be really present, just take action. If you think about it, action in the world, whether it's speaking to a girl or choosing to do the dishes, is in the moment. Everything else in your head is in the present or in the past. And while you're reading Letting Go, be really honest with what you're feeling. As honest as you can be. A lot of us aren't used to feeling the grief that is aching in our bodies. So feel a little bit of it. Feel that longing in your heart, or the anger in your stomach, or the lust in your balls, or just that, or you can feel fear in your whole body. I've felt it, like my body feels crampy, and I realize my body is readying itself for something, and I realize, it's just I'm carrying fear. When you get involved with Fearless, and I hope you look into the revealing process that we do, which is we help men feel. We help them in a grounded, contained space to feel everything they're feeling so they can start to let it go and to show up just as they are. Because anything we resist persists. If we have fear in our body and subconsciously we are thinking, I don't want to feel the fear, I'm going to shut it down. By the way, this is not necessarily conscious. It only intensifies the fear. But once you start being honest and you start feeling it, you start expanding it in your body, you go, whoa, I am terrified right now. Then the world, anything that it shines the light of awareness on it or on feeling cannot stay the way it is. It will always transmute into something else. Fear might turn into courage, or it might reveal the sadness underneath. Either way is fine. The idea is not to suppress it any longer and to make the choice to experience your entire experience as a human being, as a piece of consciousness in this crazy reality, which many people call a dream. I hope this helps for you intellectual guys, especially for those who are perfectionists. That is a really heavy cross to bear, and I think as you get more and more into your body and embodied and honest with what you're feeling, that perfectionism will ease, and you're going to find that tasks aren't as hard as your mind thinks they're going to be. You don't have to work so hard at stuff. You can let things come to you rather really pushing into them, because really in this world we're either pushing at something or we're avoiding something. You can feel both those energies. But as you just start to drop into the present moment, and your present moment is in your feelings that you're experiencing, and the actions you take, then life gets easier. It's more flow. That's it. Hope that helps.